instance, who would have thought in the tech field that RPA would be so strong? It was a failed sector back in the 90s, and now it's come back with a vengeance. And, you know, it's a gateway drug for automation. Some people say it's a gateway drug for AI. I'm not sure about that just yet. I haven't seen that. I mean, I think if AI fails on its own, that's where it will go. It'll hide itself in RPA and hide itself in automation. But I don't see that happening with the case studies that I see coming across my desk these days, or I should say, coming across my computer.
Some of the examples, Jim, I'm glad you mentioned, because I've seen some of the examples of dark data as customer information, log files, raw survey data, just some of the examples that people collect and, hey, never get the priority and right people, tool, resources get to, right? Other things, even account information, notes of presentations, old versions of relevant documents. So all this kind of burden, right, that sits out there in taking company resources, okay? So would you like to go into what would you recommend to do and where would people start and for what reason, what's in there, kind of, yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about why dark data is important, then we'll get into the how-tos. So dark data is important because it contains secrets that could really help you. It could really help you do more business, better business, smarter business. So, you know, so all the things that you mentioned are important. So we're seeing some of that come together. So you mentioned a lot of data about customer data. So when people start looking at customer journeys, they're starting to pick up the emotions, the surveys, you know, what customers are thinking, what their goals are, because you have on one end the company goal, on the other end you have the customer goal. Guess what? They don't match.
Not matching.
So companies are digging out and finding out what customers really want. I mean, I think all companies do the Band-Aid approach of let's make our customer experience a little bit better, you know, make some more money while we're doing it. And, you know, let's not scare them off. Well, that's no longer good enough. Yes, a great customer experience is fun. It's something that you ought to do. If you don't, your competitors will wipe you out quickly. But the idea of collecting information that's hidden in the journey itself, I mean, that's a great example of where dark data has benefits. You can find out, maybe the emotional stuff isn't so important, but maybe the whole end-to-end journey is. So most companies have a myopic view that a customer's journey starts at their doorstep and ends at their doorstep. Well, guess what? It doesn't. If I'm going to, you know, try to plan a trip, and let's say you're an airline organization, all you're going to really care about is my air experience. You know, get a ticket, make sure the air part works, and you might point me to some partners that will rent me cars and give me some extra, you know, points, or a hotel that might give me some extra points. That isn't what I want. I want a whole vacation or trip planned for me in context of what my goals are. So let's say I'm a neurotic flyer, which happens to be true. There's certain things that you can suggest for me as part of my journey to be less neurotic, to be more comfortable.
I'm curious. Yeah.
Well, so for instance, you know, if you're neurotic and you're worried about flying, you're worried about the actual airplane and flight, so you can give them information about the flight and what's going on in their context, what's going on in their destination, what's going on in the air, what's going on in all the airports. Now I have to go on different apps and figure that out myself, now don't I? So if I'm waiting on the tarmac, you're not giving me any information at all. So I get on my phone, probably not supposed because it's supposed to be off, but I'll go check and see what's happening in airports around the area. You know, you don't know if there was a crash in, you know, at that airport or in that region that's choking everything up, or there's bad weather. So the notion of a traveler wanting to know all kinds of information is not offered by the airlines in any way, shape, or form. Um, it also includes the people that are doing hotels. They tell me a little bit, but when I get there, I got to find what I want to eat, and whatever I happen to be hungry for at the moment. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if your hotel would tell you, here are your options, and here's some good Italian, here's some good French, and here's the different price ranges, here's how they're rated. Instead, what I get is buy from my restaurant, which is the most expensive, and well, of course, it's great because it's us.
And it happens to be closed, right? When the time of your arrival and all the time you're staying there, right? It happens to be off hours. So yeah, exactly.
If it's off hours, you will look for somebody that will deliver a cold, humble pizza.
Yep. All done that. Yep.
Yeah. So the notion of having data that's sitting in the shadows in darkness based on what my goals are as a customer or as an employee, those are all really good things for companies to investigate. Like you said, look at the log records. Let's mine the log records to find out if we can do better automation. I mean, that's a simple way to do things, and it pays back. The accountants are happy. If you can keep the grubby money out of their hands only and allocate some of it for future projects, that would be great, because they want to put it all in the bottom line, get that stock price up or whatever that happens to be, or please the CEO.